All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in to the Metal Block, your favorite heavy metal podcast, bringing brutal music to you. I was going to say week after week, but it's more like 2 week after 2 week. But
Something like
we
that.
love doing it. Yeah, something like that. But just love headbanging with all of y'all. So thanks for coming back. Go like, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff, or don't, as Brandon likes to say. And we will go with that too. So we're just happy you're here right now. We're happy that you want to check out some more metal. And as you know, what we do is we like hanging out with bands. And we have some mystery going on behind the scenes on the episode today because super exciting. Tonight we have Witchden with us to show us what they're all about, everybody. Well, at least almost what they're all about. So, hey guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with us. Why don't you guys take a second, say what's up and what you do with the band?
Well, I go by the name Rhûn, but you can call me Paul if you wish. I play guitar and do some songwriting with the Witch Den.
Nice. And that's what we got right there, everybody. I think,
Still talkative, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's awesome. This is what interviews are for, right? So the Lord will be silent, at least for the moment. Who knows what we'll get? But anyways, thanks guys again for coming. Thanks for all the awesome music you guys put out. Everybody out there, go check out some Witch Den. Brandon's gonna get us talking, right? Meow.
No talkie.
The gentleman that I'm with who's masked up, that would be Adam, and he's our guitarist and vocalist. He and Andy, the bass player who's not present, are the original members of Witch Den. Myself and Sam, the drummer, are newest additions, and we're here to help facilitate Adam's vision of darkness that we're going to unleash upon the world.
Awesome.
How's that for some Lords of Chaos quoting? We are Lords of Chaos and Darkness, destroyer of worlds.
Love it.
I do love it because there's a little bit of world destruction that comes with so many metal bands, and I love hearing the different perspectives too that come in with how it all comes about. So excited, fellas.
Well, like what I would say is like not even being a metal musician, but a fan of metal in general is a calling. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, there's something about it that grabbed you when you first. It's like, what was it? The artwork? Was it the sound? And for me, so I'll just explain a little bit about myself. I'm 52 years old. It's a blessing and a curse that I do not look my age. People, I hear it all the time.
Well,
But
wait.
I
Do
was getting
you
into
look
music.
older or younger than your age?
I do appear vastly younger, and so that's where
Okay.
the curse lies. If I'm with a group of peers, I'm sort of dismissed because of I look youthful, if that makes sense. So
There's worse
having
things to be.
so, anyways, it can be a blessing and a curse. But really, my point was is that because of my age, I grew up pre-digital, so I was about 4 years old when I got into Kiss, and that came from an aunt, and my dad was getting divorced at the time, and he got custody of me. So I didn't really understand the music so much, but I loved the way they looked, and the music made me very energetic. So Kiss was really my first foray into my own sort of music. My parents are very much into the Grateful Dead and classic rock, so music was a big part of my sister and I's childhood to begin with. But naturally, you want to rebel against your parents for whatever reason, so you want to find something that's your own. So Kiss was start of that, and then my dad started noticing that I would listen to music when I was doing homework all the time. So I was 7 years old, and my dad's like, "Well, here's my record collection. Let's pick something to play." And I saw Black Sabbath, and that was it. 7 years old, I heard Black Sabbath the first time, and the minute you heard it, I mean, it was like hearing a brown note, dude, you just shit yourself. I couldn't believe that there was something so fucking scary in this world like that, right? You're 7 years old and you're hearing like Ozzy Osbourne, what is this that stands for? And you're freaking right the fuck out. So that was it. And then it was over for me. It was just finding something that was heaviest and most brutal. And like I said, because of my age, all this stuff was new. So, junior high school, you're talking about, like, I'm listening to Iron Maiden, Anthrax, and I'm really digging it. And then all of a sudden, you started getting tastes of, like, Celtic Frost, because it was the tape trading days, man. You had paper magazines, you'd see the ads. I would save my allowance, I would buy the record, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So naturally, thrash metal, that led me into Slayer and really wanting to play guitar, because I credit Ace Frehley and seeing him play those smoking pickups when he's doing the solo, dude. You know what I mean? As a kid, you see that, you freak right out, man. I mean, it's like, it's awesome. I want to do that. So Ace Frehley really got me wanting to play guitar. But then, like I said, it's just as I started getting older and I listened to Slayer, that's really where my parents noticed that I was taking an interest in the guitar, and I had saved up my allowance, $50 back then, and I got a Hondo 2 Les Paul copy and a 10-watt Gorilla amp and a cord, and that was my first rig. And I signed myself up for guitar lessons, and what I started doing was bringing in Slayer tunes, and I'm talking like, Show No Mercy and all that stuff. So it's like at Dawn Like Sleep was one of the songs I learned on guitar. It took me so long to figure it out, and then learning Metallica's Master of the Puppets. So my foray into metal is when it was all growing. And granted, like these musicians, like are about 10 years older than me. So that's what I mean. It's been my life basically, and so that's why I'd say it's like if you're a musician or a fan, there's some sort of calling to metal, and it's like for me, like the big change was when Dark Throne in '91 released Blaze in the Northern Sky. That was like, because again, you realize that these fans overseas have been doing stuff, but we in America didn't have access to that. It wasn't the digital age. You couldn't just find it online. It's not online. It exists. So for me, when I hear Dark Throne make that switch, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's like when you look at like the early '90s metal, like I said, me metal had to be extreme. Keep in mind, I'll still listen to some prog metal and stuff like that, but really, it's like I always needed something that was more aggressive. So when you look at like when death metal started dropping, I mean, the first 4 records I got were Sepultura's Beneath the Remains, Deicide's Deicide, Pestilence, Consuming Impulse, and Obituary Slowly We Rot. I mean, that's a pretty good place to start. And I would
Hell
want to
yeah.
and say that if no one has listened to Pestilence, Consuming Impulse, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. It's one of the heaviest records ever, and it has 0 fucking blast beats on it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike technical death metal. I mean, if you're not necrophagus, you can probably put the guitar down. Those guys smoke. When necrophagus drop, I mean, so I'm gonna just be rambling metal shit all night if you want.
We all know you're ancient, Paul. You lived
Well,
through.
thank you for that.
You lived through all of the history of black metal, which is pretty fucking rad. As someone who's quite a bit younger, I'll be turning 40 here in January. But
Adam's my little brother. I love the kid to death.
fun fact is that I'm over the moon that Paul was even interested in writing music with me at all, let alone joining the band as a full member and taking ownership and contributing more than I could have ever asked. And
well, you give me too much praise. You're a good musician in your own right. It's just like I said, we got a brotherly relationship, and as I mentioned before we started recording, I am part of another band called Terrorism, and that band's been around for almost 30 years, and we are a traditional black metal band. If you're not familiar, Death Spell Omega sort of ish stuff. So I've been around the block a couple of times with that group, and I also mentioned my age. And so really my entry into Witch Dank came about because Terrorism really is not doing much, and which is okay. I mean, life happens to us all. I've been married for 25 years. Bass player's relocated from Texas that I mentioned earlier. He now lives in Illinois with his wife and his son. My vocalist is my best friend in Terrorism. We've known each other since we were 14. Uh, he's been together with his lady as long as I've been married, so 25 years for him. They bought a new house, so life happens, things slow down. So Terrorism really functions as a recording unit only. And so that's kind of when I noticed that Adam, because I've known Adam for quite some time, and when he's always kind of wanted to progress the sound, which is what I like about him, is that he's always, he is a very good musician. He plays drums, he plays guitar, he understands, composition, but he's searching for a sound in his head. And I think that, I kind of rubbed off on him a little bit. Like he on his own was discovering this stuff. But then, for me, it's like, all the older cats were, hey, check out this band, check out this band. So I kind of did that with Adam, and that's how we really bonded and got along. And then, so I noticed that he was doing some restructuring in his group. My wife, ironically, made their stage outfits when he started progressing the image and the sound. And that's really how we started bonding big time. And then I just noticed that he was going through some members, and I reached out to him. And then the rest is history, as they kind of say, is that it's like I know that both he and I had toyed around with the thought of playing music together, but neither one of us broached the subject. But this just seemed the opportune moment to do so. And so basically, where my head is at is that it's like, I've got a lot of gear. I've got quite a few guitars. I want to use them before I die. So that's what we're going to do. And if I could show Adam a little tour thing, as they say, how to play the fiddle. I'm just kidding. But no, like, I mean,
The
just
gator.
having riffs and stuff. I mean, that's where I really
That's the
wanted
thing,
to
though,
be.
is that you've been a mentor to me in a lot of ways, but really you and Brooke brought me to black metal school when I was working at the brewery with the two of you. Production, and
Listen to this, goods. Listen to this, goods. And that's how you'll hear that I refer to like if I like it, I'm gonna say it's the goods. I mean, it's just that's how I talk. But Adam, like I said, one thing that I will say about myself is I carry myself with a huge amount of humility, because at the end of the day, I work for a living. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm always going to be the kid that likes playing metal, and it's like it's hard to compliment me. I'm also very reclusive and socially awkward. You'll notice that I have severe hearing loss, so if I talk like a little louder than you're expecting, it's just because mostly I need to like also hear myself. And that's just part of the course for being a musician for so long. But then I worked at First Avenue for 15 years, and that just like wrecked my hearing. So anyways,
not only, I mean, I worked there too, and then I ran a chainsaw for 4 years, and my hearing's not great either. But I mean, Paul joining the band was something that was a turning point for me. So about a year ago now, I parted ways with our previous vocalist, who is still a good friend of mine, goes by Drew Blood. He was on Tomes of Madness. He's a phenomenal vocalist, incredible range. We just had creative differences, and that's okay. It's totally fine to acknowledge that. But that's not exactly the case between me and our last guitar player. And I parted ways with them at the same time. There was some stuff that happened, and it happens, life happens. It'd been a long time, but we finally decided that we didn't work well together. It wasn't an ideal situation. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't a loving, creative environment anymore. And because of that, and the fact that I started this band 15 years ago, I have, I have ownership of it, and I wanted to create the image, the vision that I have and had in my head. Now it's coming to life, which is incredible to witness, and to be part of. You know, having a goal as far as an image and a sound, a certain level of cohesion, a standard when it comes to presentation. I went to art school for 4.5 years at MCAD in Minneapolis. This is an art form in all mediums for me. It's visual, it's audible, it's tangible, it's a vibe, right? And I want our experience when you come see us to be something that you feel inside and out. And so it's just steadily gotten more and more bleak, as far in musicality and in image. We started in 2010, so the band's 15 years old. We started as a blackened stoner band. I don't know if you've heard anything off of Consulting the Bones, but that was our first vocalist, Jason.
That's exactly how I described it to Zoomy. It sounded to me like some blackened stoner metal kind of stuff. I dig the sound.
Yeah, and it's always had that heady, kind of weedy feel to it,
Yeah, I said sludge whenever I told him. I was
Yeah, and
like,
it
oh, like
slowly
some black and
became a
sludge
sludge
metal,
project.
man.
It's exactly
Yeah.
what it was. It started as a black and stoner band and became black and sludge, and that just kind of stayed there for a long time. And then near the end, when we were writing for Tomes of Madness, the black and roll came out, and that's where Paul and I really connect. And he and I share a passion for black and roll. We love bands like Armageddon and Kraft and
Cold.
Ovsky. Ovsky with a V,
KHOLD.
not with an
Never
F.
heard Cold. The
Ovsky with
first
a
four
V, not
records
with an
were
F.
just
But yeah.
insane.
What, Paul?
Yeah. So not to cut Adam off, but so when he's talking about the visual thing, so when I first met Adam and I went and saw Witch Den the first time, right? When I heard the name Witch Den, you hear a band name and that gives you like an impression in your mind, it's like the same time, like when you meet people, you get kind of an idea in your head. So when I heard Witch Den, man, I was like, well, fuck, are these guys going to be like around a smoldering cauldron and like throwing shit or like, spells and shit, right? Like, I mean, I know it sounds funny, but like, this is how I think. So it's like, that's what I told them. It was like, dude, like they didn't have any corpse paint on. They're just, they're just being themselves, but they're into it and there's an energy there. But I saw their vocalist at the time, this guy named Blake, and he's a very large human being. And this dude is now like hovering over people, literally screaming in their face, like wide-eyed, screaming, like hand gestures and shit. And I'm like, that's intimidating as fuck. But like, what if this dude looked like a fucking orc that came out of a cave? Like how, like now you just made that intimidation factor go through the roof.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. That's really all I said to Adam. Was like, dude, it'd just be cool if like you guys had like an image. And then Adam like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And on his own, he came up with it, and then he had my wife like make their outfits. But Adam came up with all the symbolism from the garments to the very sigils that were on them. So, I mean, like he had a pretty distinct vision, and that was like his big breakthrough for me, like what I saw, like creatively speaking. And it wasn't that I was a catalyst for it because he was already thinking about it. It was just happened to be that I'm so animated by my shit that it's like he was like,
gave
oh, yeah,
me a little
do
push.
that. So, but yeah, so anyways, like, and so I'm in a, like I mentioned, in Terrorism, we've always done like the hooded cloaks, for the longest time I had really long hair, and it's like, if you're a long haired dude, you need to be flinging heads. If you're not flinging heads, then what the hell are you doing with the hair? So now, if you shave your head, you got to confirm and deny everything with the stink face, right? Because now you don't got any hair, you can't bang. But now you put like confirm and deny with the fucking stink face on, right? Like Phil Anselmo, yep, here comes Walk, nope, not that riff, right? So anyways, we decided we were going to do hooded cloaks. And then what the fuck do you do? because now you're in this Grim Reaper robe. So like, how do you emote? How do you make energy appear without like, well, if I bang my head, the cloak's gonna fall off and I'm gonna look like a tool, right? So, anyways, massive corpse paint and stare with the eyes. And Adam sort of did a similar thing where they had like the ashen handprints on them, and it's like, dude, I mean, it was like Blair Witch kind of creepy shit, I'm not gonna lie. And so I mean, that's what you expect, and that's the spectacle, Again, it's coming from the kid who grew up looking at Kiss, so of course, naturally, I'm gonna want some sort of spectacle. Now the challenge is with Witch Den is that you can't see us at all, and that was the thing. It's like there wasn't like we talked about the black and roll sound, and that's where I really came in because I had a lot of material that I knew that wouldn't work for terrorism. Not to say that it's bad per se, it's just simply different. I mean, no matter what I do, like any other guitar player, like all four of us, five of us, whoever's in this room, whoever's listening, we could all play a G chord on a guitar. But you're going to notice it all sounds subtly different because everybody has their unique phrasing. So I'm always going to sound like me when I'm doing shit. But I just knew that some of this material wouldn't be as up to snuff for what terrorism does musically. And I knew that Adam was like into this sound to begin with, and he already had some material too. And what we found is that this stuff blends really fucking well, and it opened up some floodgates. And so, like he had mentioned, that we're shooting for 9 and we're already at 7 in. And I mean, we've only been doing this since February, so I mean, almost a year now, and we're basically ready to start, putting the final touches on most of this stuff. And keep in mind that we're actually rehearsing all this shit too. So you'll find that I swear a lot, so I apologize if the FCC is paying attention.
Hey, fuck you.
They're not.
Yeah.
Well, fucking A, man. Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Yeah, they should be.
Well, not only did we both have stuff that we were working on that worked, we found that when we knew we got along. We knew that we were good friends and that we could hang out with each other without killing each other, right? That's
important.
A start. That's a start. So we were like, okay, well, we'll just see what happens,
Well, just think about all the bands throughout fucking history, whether it's rock and roll, country, or not. I mean, drama happens with every fucking band. You always hear it, right? Okay, someone got Yoko Ono. All right, like move it. You know what I mean? The singer fucking freaks out and throws bass player off. Hey, the whole band does a bunch of nose beers and leaves the singer at Vermont in a gas station.
Yeah,
Wait, that's
he's gonna say that.
soon. I'm sorry, but no. But I mean, drama always happens.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's, no band is ever going to be above that. It's just the nature of the beast. You're talking about not just musical and creative relationships, but you're also talking about just human emotional relationships. You know what I mean?
Personalities,
some guys
man.
can function where they don't fucking like each other, and hey, but that's not me. Like, like for me, like the creative, it's a creative thing, and it's a sort of like, a sacred, safe space that you want to be in. So you got to be kind of like, you got to vet the people you want to be with, right? In that environment. And I think Adam and I get along greatly to begin with, and it just makes sense, like musically. And it's just like, I think that's what was a big, it was is a very important thing for Adam, just because, I mean, what he had to go through with the prior lineup, drama's never fucking fun, man. It's just, shit happens. And so it's like for him, it kind of, that makes you not want to do shit, when it goes south, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, I really was looking forward to seeing that band, but then that asshole showed up and ruined the whole fucking night, so now I'm never going to go to this bar again. I mean, that's like the most, like, generic, like, I guess, way to picture the situation. But, again, it's just like, I just want to I just want to write sick fucking riffs, man. I mean,
Well,
that's
and you
really
do.
where I'm at with it. And
Part of what I was saying is that yes, we get along, and yes, we both have riffs that are great on our own. But we got together and unplugged and just sat down on his couch, and we found that, we were able to write together quite beautifully and
well, it's just
naturally.
It's the ease of it, man. It's just like, that's the thing. It just is remarkable about it, is that it's like you look at how people evolve in a creative space, and it's just like, like I said, he's a very talented dude, and it was just easy to like show him stuff. And it's like one of the big differences is that he has been in drop tuning for so long. And I was like, well, just try standard, and so that's what we are. It's like we're basically C sharp standard, so we still have like the real low tuning, but now you're opening up a lot of the chords, and that was the thing that was an epiphany for him.
Yeah, and now I'm writing stuff that I listen to my own stuff just because I like what's coming out. I'm a huge fan of bands like Gua and Groza and Blaze of Perdition. I really like that like Polish, emotional, sad but epic, triumphant sort of sound. And that's what we do is we play with our heartstrings a little bit, and we play with those colors, and we paint a picture, and what's coming out is it's just on another level than anything we've done before. And that's what's so exciting is everyone's coming out of their shell here. And like Andy, for instance, now that we're in a standard format, he's more comfortable writing bass lines, and he is flourishing and painting all over these tracks and really just owning everything. And now Andy is the only other founding member besides myself. We started the band in 2010, and he's been my rock the entire time. I don't think we've never fought, not once, and he is my number two. And he is just the nicest person you could possibly meet or know or have in your life. And I feel so lucky to even be blessed with his presence, let alone be married to him in a band. And now our drummer is actually a full member but remains anonymous at this point, for a reason. But I feel like now I have two Andys in the band. Well, three. Paul's a sweetheart. He just swears a lot, and I want to kick him sometimes. But no, but I feel so lucky. I just feel so lucky to just be making music with this group of people and to just allow the creativity to just flourish and not have anything else in the way, right? So not only are we writing this album, we're developing the live experience at the same time. Once we get to 6 completely fleshed out, we're ready to do something. Now, we're done being a local Minneapolis band. We are not going to play very many shows in town at all. It's time for us to bring this to the masses, festivals. Just get out of here. Just get out of here. If we're too old and have too much going on to go to Appleton, Wisconsin, right? And play in a basement. It's not that we don't want to, it's just that we have lives and we have to be selective with the time that we spend doing this.
Yeah, I was going to say time gets just more and more valuable by the day, right? Just in general. And, a lot of what I'm hearing you guys say too is something that I've thought about because I've heard it. Like I've read a book by a person, who's saying this is how you be successful or whatever, but they talk about the right person in the right place or the right person in the right seat. And that's a lot of what I'm hearing. You guys had to get the right people in the right place. And then once that happens, like the vision can become that plus so much more, right? So much more than it ever could have even been because
Absolutely.
I didn't even know what all of our input together would create. I know what I thought, but here's what we ended up with. And, like you were saying, you actually enjoy listening to it, right? So it makes a difference with the right people. I always said that I tried playing with people before in groups, and I was like, they just weren't my friends, and it was no offense, I mean, they were great people, but there's like a chemistry that you kind of can achieve with other people. And whenever you can do that, like the magic, is something special. And so that's a lot too of what I've heard you guys echo again and again, is like you finally have the right people in the right place.
Yeah.
And now we can take this forward, right? Because you said we're not looking back anymore. We're looking
Well,
forward.
and that's the thing. I'm not trying to shit on Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm just saying
I
we
heard you spitting on Apple, Wisconsin. You
I fucking
fuck.
love Wisconsin. They treat bands better there than most places. You know, they'll let you drink yourself to death for free, essentially, in Wisconsin if you want. But we have spent 15 years doing the Weekend Warrior thing, doing small runs, and it's time to just focus on the product.
Sure, you got to maximize your opportunities for exposure.
Yeah, right.
Right, like playing
Yeah.
playing at the same club in the same town to the same fans.
And that's the thing. We love it here. We have so many friends here. We
Yeah.
played, you know, all these places. We know all these people that work at these places. It's like, it's just people don't care.
Look, I like playing shows, man. I will say as a musician, I mean, as a live, you know, it's like playing live is part of the game and it's fun.
We're just
But
ready to see the world.
But you always see it, man. You always see it's like, you know, there's the local bands that play like once a month, man. It's like, how are you going to change up your set? You know, if you're playing all these shows all the time, you know, you're eventually going to burn yourself out and burn the audience out too. You know what I mean? It's like, you know,
Yeah.
Adam can testify to this. Is like, I live by keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? Sometimes less really is more. I mean, I get, you know, Yngwie Malmsteen be like, no, more is more. But, you know, really it's just like, no. I mean, you know, you can like think about some of the best fucking songs in the world, man. They're like either 3 chords or 3 or 4 riffs, you know? So, I mean, a lot of time you can overthink shit. And it's just like part of that is like for us, is like Adam said, it's like, you know, it's like if you're going to do it, let's do it for real. You know, I mean, we're on to something. I mean, not saying that we're like reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but I mean, there's a certain amount of energy, and it's like you guys were, you know, just nailing the head on is that, you get to a point where you're connecting with people on a musical level and like the shit just happens so fast and what you're producing is amazing shit, you know, like you're playing harder shit than you've ever played in your life. But the other thing is that it's fucking fun. If it's not fun, then why do it? And that's the thing. It's like Adam and I are having a lot of fun. And like I said, is that it's like, you know, what I'm enjoying about the material is that it is unique. And it's like, you know, it's really hard for some bands to blend genres without making it sound so cut and, you know, copy and paste. But, you know, we're drawing on a lot of influences and the stuff is like, you know, he's not doing it enough justice is what I'm saying. Because there's parts where it's just, you just want to crush somebody.
Well, and
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
thing
It's
is now I'm doing what I've wanted to do for so long in the way that we're doing it, and all of my previous ideas are coming to fruition with the help of Paul, you know, in all aspects, and I'm excited to see what's out there and go for it. But you know, these have been my dreams for a long time. You know, I fell in love with you know the no face idea and the look, and I've wanted to put a mask on for quite some time, but also ditch the grease paint. I don't know if you've ever worn black grease paint while under a thick hood under stage lights, but the sweat runs through the the paint and carries it directly into your eyeballs. But that's also part of streamlining the whole process, right? Like now we have 4 articles of clothing that we just throw on real fast and get out there.
the other aspect too is that it's like you're taking away individuality, right? You're now seeing a cohesive thing. It's just like, it's not about us. It's about the vibe and the energy and the music specifically. And it's like, you know, Adam was saying, it's like, you know, if you've listened to Witchden's back catalog, there's nothing that gives you a point of reference for what we're doing right now. And I think that's the exciting part for me, is that there are those who are going to expect a certain sound and it's not going to be it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. But again, like Adam, like I said, he's a very creative person and he's had this idea for some time. So I'm just glad to be a part of it and help kind of facilitate that. But you got to let me be the metal dork and say that the sinister parts are fucking sinister. And I've been married for 25 years and I love my wife, but we do some riffs where I would just grab her, give her a big kiss, and then power bomb her through like 3 tables and be like, honey, did you hear how fucking heavy that was? So, I mean, like I said, we're having fun and we're also making, like, we're doing some serious work. I mean,
Happy mama.
I can't wait till people hear Sam, because Sam is a beast of a drummer. I mean, this dude is sick. And the thing that I love most about him is that he's avant-garde for a drummer. I mean, yes, you're gonna see like 300-mile-an-hour blast beats and all that stuff, but I mean, what I mean though is that he's very unique in how he writes the drums for our songs. And I mean, it's not like overboard, but it's sick. It's like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's like when you see John Longstreth for the first time, you're like, what the fuck is that dude doing? He's not moving, and he looks like Zach Galifianakis, and he looks bored, and he's blasting at 800 beats a minute. You guys know exactly the videos, dude. You see where John has the big beard, and he looks just like fucking Zach Galifianakis, and he's just nodding his head like he's gonna doze off at any moment. Meanwhile, he's playing at 300 miles an hour, and you're like, how the fuck does this dude do that? So, I mean, Sam is like that. I mean, Sam has got like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy how all this thing just kind of came together. And it's like, especially with how fruitful it's all been. You know what I mean? And part of it is like, biting the tongue and not wanting to like share all the goods just yet. But it is the goods, I can tell you that. I mean, like, we made some considerable progress, and I just can't wait to release it. I'm just like stoked, and it haven't felt like this in a long time.
Do you guys have a project, like an estimated like timeline for when the new material will be available?
Well,
we still have a chunk of the work left to do. We are not rushing ourselves through the process. I mean, yes, we want to get a product in hand in a reasonable time frame, but I feel like we're already ahead of schedule. Like you said, we started in February writing this. It hasn't even been a year, and we have the majority of 7 tracks. So I'm over the moon as far as how it's gone so far. I couldn't ask for anything more, and I couldn't have predicted the amount of work that has been achieved. We didn't even get together and jam in person for a good 4-5 months or so. Everything was done remotely. I would record scratch guitar tracks in Reaper after getting together with Paul on his couch, and we would come up with stuff and come up with a simple structure, and then I would go home and lay it out, and I would send it off to Sam. But just like Andy, we're trusting each other and the process, and not trying to dictate too much what the other is doing. So we gave the songs to Sam and just said, let's see what you come up with, and he's very receptive to input and feedback. Never has he never has an issue with anything that we have to say, but we're not trying to control him as a musician, and he's very well trained and knowledgeable, and he's just an amazing drummer. And he took our riffs and warped them by writing drum parts that we would not have expected or thought of ourselves. And both Paul and I play drums, so we have a basic idea of what the parts are that go under our guitar pit, right? Parts, right? Well, what comes out and what comes back after sending it off is not that. and we love that.
It's exciting, right?
Sam is a beast, is what he's trying to say. Sam is an absolute beast. I mean, he couldn't ask for.
We could play one riff for 5 minutes and it would sound like a song with 10 different parts, right?
Dude, he's a beast. Like, he is the hammer, we are the anvil, man. Like, he's sick. So, I mean, he's a
What he's saying
talented
is he
kid.
beats
Like I
us.
said,
He
he's just
beats
very
us.
obscure. It's like, I mean, you can tell like he's an extreme metal drummer. He's got the chops, but it's just like his approach. And like I said, I mean, it's been fun to watch and it's been fun to play to because I mean, like I said, I've been around the block for a while and it's just like, not to toot my own horn, but played with a few drummers and Sam is just very unique in my eyes. Like it's just, I like the way he approaches it and it's very obscure and you're going to hear me say that word a lot. I like being obscure. And that's, like, if people ask what Witchden's sound is, I'm simply going to say that we're a metal band because I mean, I don't necessarily like categorizing it too much. I mean, yes, there's the black and roll vibe, but I mean, we're doing something sort of unique is kind of where I'm getting at. It's like I said, we're not reinventing the wheel and no one's going to be like, holy shit, it's like, 42 is the answer of the universe and all that kind of shit. But I mean, it's writing really sick and sincere music. And that's the important part is that we're all putting ourselves into it. And that's what I will say is pretty genuine and it's hard to come by. You can't buy shit like that. You can hire the best studio musician in the world, but I mean, if you guys don't vibe and you don't click, it's just going to sound manufactured and none of this. I mean, dude, I don't know. It's like you get in that room and you start playing those riffs and then you look at each other and you realize everybody's just kind of flinging heads and getting into it. And you just like, everybody's like looking like they're about to drop one, you just, all right, this is the sickness. We're doing it. It's like, so anyways, that's where I'm at. So you'll find that I'm a little positive at the moment. So
I think we're all positive. I mean, we're giddy.
If you're not excited about it, why should anybody else be? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So if you don't want to listen to the music you're writing, why should I want to listen to it? So I love that, the passion you guys have and then like the excitement that I can hear in your voices talking about the project and the direction you guys are headed. Dude, like you're getting me worked up. Like I'm excited. Like I can't wait to hear it. I'm so looking forward to you guys completing the collection of songs that you want to have on the record and get it out. I'm gonna be having my eyes open looking for teasers and all kinds of stuff. Like you guys have me hooked. Like just hearing the love that you guys have for and the excitement that you have for what you're working on right now has got me excited. And I love hearing that because
Well,
there's
we definitely, like, I mean, Adam and I talked quite a bit of, I mean, like we said, we didn't really want to rush anything, I mean, we're on a good roll right now, and like, we're most of the way there as far as at least having the material for the songs right now. It's like really what Adam's been doing has been going through some of the material that I presented and putting his own touches on it, and that's you'll find that the guitars are pretty layered, and somewhat relatively straightforward. But like I said, just we want to make sure that we're all kind of happy with the direction they've gone. But we've talked about a couple of teaser ideas, so nothing is in plan just yet. But I can almost imagine that within a couple months, people will start getting a taste of something here or there. It won't be. What I will say this though is that we do sign on to record, it's not going to take very long because everybody's been very, very proficient. I mean, that's the other part that's been fun is that everybody is just, like I said, stellar musicians. So it hasn't been very hard to present and manifest ideas, and that's the other enjoyment. And so, I mean, like Adam had said, is that, we are pretty much ahead of schedule. Both he and I thought we'd be in a different spot this time. And we just kind of both, last week, in fact, we're just remarking and just kind of shocked at how much material we have in such a short amount of time. So, really, now what we're both going to do is just kind of isolate and, kind of like tunnel vision on the tracks because, you want to make, now's the point where you start dissecting every little thing. But it's there, it's all there. I mean, several of them have titles already. So I mean, if it gives you any idea of the time frame, it's not going to be too terrible. I'd imagine by spring we'd be ready to record, and then after that, it's the hands of the
It won't be
gods.
long after that.
Very cool. Are you guys going to be playing live anywhere before, like with the new material, before you expect to release the new
I would
album?
imagine.
Yeah, that's the
I
goal.
would imagine so. But that's going to be a group decision. I know that we've all talked about it at some degree. I mean, we know that we're planning on it. But never say never. So I would imagine that we'll do something. You know, Adam and I both talked about we don't want to be in a position, because I think you guys could also appreciate this, is that when you see a band live and you dig them, and then you go to the merch table, and really what you want is you want to have the material that you just saw them perform, right? And we don't want to be in a position where we play live but we have nothing to give them. Like, imagine we play live and, oh man, what song was that on? Well, it's not released yet, but here's a shirt. You know what I mean? Like, you want to have something that they can take home. So we talked about maybe just recording this in chunks, but I think Adam and I both came to the conclusion that if we're going to spend money to do this, we may as well do it all,
Yeah.
and then we can kind of reassess what we want to do. But I would imagine that you'll see us and hear us before it's too late. Does that make sense? I know it's a little enigmatic and stuff, but
The issue is that we are fully forward focused, right? I mean, we are a new band. All we share with the previous iteration, essentially, besides wearing black, is the name.
well,
So
I'll just segue and interrupt with this: is that everybody bought new instruments for this? You know what I mean? Like, that's how
there's
serious.
a level of
we take it.
dedication that I mean, we're all just so into it that this is where we want to be. This is where we want to spend our money. This is where we want to spend our time. But
So
yeah, I
actually,
mean,
I
Paul
have a
and I.
question for you about that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would love to hear about like y'all's gear. Like you just said you guys all bought new instruments and stuff. Tell us a little bit about what you're playing on.
All
Well,
right, so I'll go.
mhm.
I use a Mesa Boogie 3-channel triple rectifier, the multi-watt version. My wife surprised me one day picking me up from work, and so that was that. I ordered that through Capital Guitars in Minnesota. I highly recommend. Double thumbs up. I run that through a Mesa Boogie 412 matching, straight cab, 4 Celestion vintage 30s. But then I just went out and got another cabinet because we're going to go full stack. And then I've really always had a passion for BC Rich Warlocks, and I have 5 of them now. But really, I went and got a Prophecy Series Warlock. I have now 2 of those, and they're $1,100 guitars. They're about as best you can get for without going through the custom shop. So you got neck through satin finish on the back of the neck, locking tuners, active EMG pickups,
Carbon binding.
carbon fiber binding, full. They're sick instruments, and so Adam played mine, and he was in the market to get one, and so he scored himself one, and Andy's now ordered himself this crazy $1,700 BC Rich Warlock bass that he gets at the end of the month. So I know he's stoked. But so yeah, so I'm
I think he needs
basically
to wait
running.
another month now. I think he just found out. He's a
Oh,
little
bummer. So anyways, Adam and I will rub the Warlocks in his face for a while. So I basically just run active EMG pickups through BC Rich Warlocks, and I go through a Mesa Boogie full stack. And now I'll let Adam give you his rundown.
I have owned one head in the life of this band, and that is a used first generation 5150 EVH, and I actually purchased it from Micah, ex Wolfhammer member, I don't know if you are familiar with the band Wolfhammer, but they're a pretty tough band. But yeah, Micah sold it to me. It's got the line connecting the two sides of the H has been scratched away, and it says evil instead of EVH. And it just always has. It happened before I got it.
Nice.
And the thing just sounds evil, but a friend of mine modded it to the nines last year, and now it sounds like a boutique amp. It's got a choke and all kinds of mods that make it just sound amazing, and a high-end bypass and all kinds of stuff. So um I I am in the gonna be in the market for some new gear here eventually, but I run that through a Savage Audio 412 with Celestians, and then I have an Avatar cab that I run, which then has been doing full stacks for quite some time. I think since early on, maybe our second or third year. So that's kind of just been our thing. So we're gonna carry that on. I think at this point, what I'm shifting focus on visually is getting some art together and starting to pull some ideas together for that, because we don't want to be waiting on art when the music's done, right? No one wants to be waiting on that.
So I remember you said you went to art school. Are you doing the art, or are you guys commissioning an artist?
So yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have the time to dedicate. I want to focus on music, right? I want to be um putting my time into rehearsing and writing, perfecting. So I I did design our totem symbol um image that we use. Um and I have done several of our shirts in the past, but basically I like to do rough sketches of things to present to artists that can spend the time to flesh it out. So I generate the ideas, and then I like to work with different people and support friends that do similar things than I do. But yeah, I'm always one to work with people. I love people. I love talking to people. I love people's different talents and utilizing that. It's you're never alone. You shouldn't be alone in the process, right? So yeah.
Very
Totally
cool.
agree. I love having other artists involved. I think Paul, you mentioned earlier about, you know, artwork, image, all that kind of stuff, kind of getting you into it, right?
Yep.
Maybe started with Kiss and everything, but man, it just so important. We've talked about that on the show over and over again. Just, the overall, I like to say, identity of the group,
Yep.
is really something that whenever bands take the time to put the energy into establishing a true identity. Not that there's anything wrong with going up on stage and melting some faces and getting some people to bang some heads, but there's also something really cool about that concept that the band adopts. And it, like you said, now it's not just a group of individuals. Now
Yep.
we have this thing, right? And this thing is now what is the focal point, not you playing guitar or Sam playing drums, no matter how amazing he
But
is, right? It's Witched.
Yeah, it's the collective. It's an
There you go.
external thing. It really is.
Yeah, yeah. And I
It's
can
outside of
see,
yourself.
right,
well,
right.
it gives you freedom too. You know what I mean? Like as I
Yeah.
mentioned before, I mean, terrorism has done the hooded cloaks and the corpse paint things, so there's certain anonymity there. But you know, I like that being an enigma. And I mean, that's what's kind of cool because it takes the you out of it, the ego out of it. Because I mean, like I said, I'm a hard person to compliment, and I don't like talking about it too much. I mean, I know I seem sort of extroverted, but Adam can testify that I'm very much an introverted person. I'm very reclusive. I maintain the same social circle that I've had since high school. You know, like the new additions are generally coworkers, so it's just like that's kind of how I operate. But it's so yeah, blah 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 blah. I think
Hey,
art
there's
is
nothing
very
wrong with
important.
that, man. Brando and I, high school buddies, man.
Hell yeah.
I was gonna say, and Paul, like you may be a little bit older, but we're in our 40s as well. So we're all like right there around that same time period.
Yeah,
So
I've
hey,
been meaning to ask you guys, where are
yeah,
you located?
Brandon.
I'm in Houston, Texas,
Wow.
and Zoomy's in Oklahoma City.
Right on.
Yeah.
So they're very warm where they are at.
Kind of. I mean, we're below freezing, Paul. We're below freezing. You got to give me a smidge credit. I do think though that we have like,
I'm still above freezing at the moment.
yeah, Brandon is always going to be above freezing. Like he said, if it gets to freezing or even close, Houston is shut down, man. All those people's swimming pools freeze up and they don't even know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but yeah, I totally love it. I know that you guys mentioned, everything's looking forward, everything is new, but we don't have anything new to really play for anybody yet. So I thought if you guys were okay, just because, if somebody out there, they're watching the show, they haven't listened to you guys yet, it'd be nice to still give them a little taste of at least what Witched In has been
The thing
about.
about Tomes of Madness is that's I was pushing the sound in the direction I wanted it to go. So it is an evolutionary step. You can hear what we're doing now hinted at in these 4 tracks from Tomes of Madness.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. Well, I was thinking, and it's just because it was a song that I dug, because it's, being it one of the most recent things that you guys released, is one of the first things I checked out. I always go like most recent and then kind of backwards, and then a lot of times I just like let the stream shuffle itself around within that artist and just show me what I can get. But Ash of the Ancients was one of the tracks that I actually got to check out time and time again. I think I just kept playing it again. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's one that you guys would be willing to let us play, but we could give everybody a listen right now.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. So, everybody out there, thanks for checking it out and listening to that song. Thanks, guys, for letting us play this song.
Yeah,
we hope,
thank you.
We hope everybody out there got a chance to, if they haven't listened to you guys yet, that they're definitely going to be checking y'all out now. And if they have, I like to say it just brought them back to the top of the stack. You're the new magazine again. And so they can be watching out for what you guys have to come. Like, we're both excited about it, and I love that we've gotten to talk about what I like to call Witch Den Land.
Where the shadows lie.
Yeah, where the shadows lie. Even better. Yes. Way to add an even better follow up there. That's super cool. But one of the things that we like to do after we play the song is we like to do our Fast Five. And the Fast Five is really just a chance for people to get to know you a little bit better, mainly outside of metal, because what we've always liked to try to relay here is most of the time people, whenever they go to a metal show, they're right there with the band. They're hanging out with the bands. So they get to go up to the merch table after the show, and usually there's somebody there who's representing the band. And so it's awesome whenever they can relate in one way or another. And so that's usually what these questions are there to try to bring, but so much other fun tends to come up along the way. So I don't know if you guys want to play, but we'd love to play.
We would love to play too.
All right.
That's awesome. Brandon, are you going to read a couple questions?
I'll do the evens, brother.
Oh, you're going with the evens. So Brando sticks with the evens. I go with the odds. You know what I'm saying? All right. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'm the only one who can raise my hand to answer. So
there you go. There you go.
That works.
All right. Well, Adam, so what then is your favorite after hours cuisine? And I'm saying after the stores have closed down. You can't go to the grocery store. I will accept all night fast food. Okay, let's hear it.
What about fast food?
I said I will accept all night fast food if that's something that you're like, oh, I like to hit up this place at 3 a.m.
What is that place?
Oh no, this is your question, buddy.
There's only one answer.
All right.
Taco Bell.
Oh,
I knew we were gonna go that way.
That is exactly what I was gonna say too, which is hilarious.
I mean, if I go to a show or something and I have 2 beers, it's open late. It's right by my house, but they don't make terrible food. Honestly, for fast food, it's a little bit better.
So I ate there today.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree.
How's your butt?
It's still working.
That's
You
good.
know, yeah, that's the most important part
Yeah.
about the butt is that it works. So,
All right.
oh,
Paul.
wait. Do we want to do the back to back?
Yeah.
Or
Let's let Paul. Let's get Paul's
All right.
answer.
Yeah. All right. So, Paul, what do you think? After Hours, cuisine.
Dude, Adam took the answer from my mouth. It's gonna be Taco Bell.
Okay.
Wife praise
All right.
it. Wife praise it.
A little fourth meal, as we
So-
like to say, right?
Yes.
My wife likes it too, coincidentally.
If it's late night and everything's closed, I might be hitting up that Waffle House personally. So.
Waffle.
We don't really have those around here.
Oh, really? Well, they're usually near the highway. You guys have a highway, right?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Perfect.
Hey, so I'm not geographic, I'm not like a geography major or anything like that, but does I-35 go up through Minnesota?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
to get to Texas, all I got to do is jump on 35 South.
Wow.
All right.
So
So-
it's right down the road.
Yeah, just right down the road, guys. Just right down the road from
Right
each other.
down the road. man.
I literally live off of it. Actually, like I'm less than I'm like a quarter mile from 35. Where
That's so awesome.
Nice.
I freaking love that. That we're so far apart, but yet we have this one road that is still like
100%.
that is so freaking awesome. I love it. So we're neighbors, guys. Howdy,
Connected
neighbor.
by the I-35.
Yeah, that's right. Oh gosh. So a
Love
little
it.
fourth meal, everybody out there. We'd love to hear what you like to have after hours. All right, Brando, question 2.
All right, question 2. I had to read it. It's a long question, Zoomy. So,
What?
all right. Adam, you ready?
I got to answer first again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep,
You're just gonna steal my answer again. All
all
right.
right. Would you rather know exactly what you are doing for the next 10 years or not know?
Holy shit.
We get real
I can
deep
answer
here
that
at the
one.
middle.
I'll answer that one first.
I would want to not know.
God damn
I
it,
would
dude.
like to
That's what I was
feel
just
like-
going to say. I would not want to know.
No, I would not want to know. I mean, that's the thing about that's that age-old conversation about destiny, right? It's like, is your path predetermined? If it is, do decisions even matter? Like, and that's kind of how I feel. It's like everything feels like a choice, but in the end, there's only one decision you're gonna make, right? This got pretty deep pretty fast.
So here's what's
Yeah, that's
actually
what we
funny.
do here at the Metal Block.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we
We
go deep.
Balls
This
deep,
is-
brother.
So this is funny.
It is deep, though. It is deep.
I've heard that there are people out there that you can pay to make decisions for you. Like, I mean, hey, I don't want to decide what I'm eating tonight. Paul,
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
and Paul says macaroni and cheese all day, baby. And so I'm like, all right, macaroni and cheese. And I thought to myself, whenever I heard about this, I was like, okay, even the simplest of decisions, what a relief it would be, even if this wasn't a permanent thing, just for a day or two, maybe even a week, for you to be like, all right, I'm not making any decisions this week.
Well, I mean, your AI companion's gonna do that in 5 years, right?
I
It's gonna be
mean,
like,
yeah,
"All right,
you're
gonna
right.
Pull over here on your way home. You're
Mhm.
gonna eat this because I know you're hungry for it. Then you're gonna go over here. You're gonna rent this movie.
Oh,
Your
yeah,
whole day
so,
it's just gonna be planned out for you.
yeah, because you're going to be
Dude,
like,
then it's gonna turn into the movie Companion, and then we're all fucked.
every one
Only
of
I've
us, there's
seen that.
there's no hope.
Which then
I think
evolves
we-
into Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, my friends,
You'd
is
think
the
we'd learn.
Terminator part of the story.
My wife told me last night she's never seen Judgment Day. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh man.
Yeah, so,
She seen the other ones though?
No.
oh, okay.
Never seen Terminator. Never seen Terminator.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Hey, Judgment
That's
Day
so
is one of those like you put it up there where the sequel is better than the original. Like that.
There
That's
you
the
go.
first one.
Yep.
There's two movies that come to mind for me. It's that one and then like the Ninja Turtle Secret of the Ooze.
Well, James Cameron, he did it a few times. You know, the sequel to Alien was
That's
true.
right.
one of his best
Aliens was
movies
better.
too, right?
I always say Bill Paxton, where he's like, I don't know if anybody's keeping score, but we just got our asses kicked.
Good
I
impression.
freaking love it. Thank you. I'm working on it, you know. Not really, but
So, Paul, what was your answer? Do you want to know what you're doing for the next 10 years or not know?
I would rather not know. I would rather experience it, man. I mean, it's where it gets deep, right? It's like, I mean, do you want to know how you die? Do you want to know the day that you die? Well, I would want to know that, man, because I mean, would I change my life up to that point? You know, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you know, I like what I'm doing now. I don't want to know necessarily when it ends because I want to enjoy the experience. And it's like, if you know when it ends, dude, are you going to enjoy anything? You're always going to be looking over your shoulder, right? You're always like, if you knew how it was going to happen and when, everything after that point is just artificial to me, you know? I mean, at that point, just
yeah.
we're good or done with, you know what I mean? It's like that's the deep thing. It's like, you know, I had this conversation with my wife. It's like, I mean, if I can't physically take care of myself, then I don't want to be alive. I don't want to be a burden on my family or my friends.
Oh
you
man, I
know?
can't wait to be a burden on my family and friends.
Only my kids. Only my kids.
Yeah.
Oh
That's the thing.
man.
For me, it seems like the actual knowledge could go either direction. Either
Yeah.
you know, every moment is empty after that, or every moment is fuller and you love harder and you just hold on to everything. I don't know. It could go both ways, I think.
So if I
You don't
knew
really know how
exactly
you're
when
gonna
I was
react
gonna
to
die and how, I would be running red lights left and right. I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, I'm doing everything."
something.
Well, I mean, it's like, but see, there lies. It's like, I mean, does that have to be the catalyst for doing the things you want to do? I mean, how cliche is that? It's like positive mental attitude, right?
Yeah.
Like you can do your dreams, but I mean, that's the point, though. It's like, man,
I guess all I'm saying is that we take so many things for granted every day. And we
100%.
assume that
So
they're
it's
just
like
gonna
that's what
be
I
there,
look at,
right?
like doing Witch Den. It's like it's the one thing that's like I've always wanted to do with my life is like do music. So it's like fucking let's do the band for real.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. Right.
We're in
Yeah.
our shit or get off the pot era.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to that precious time. You know what I'm saying? Well, this is a great follow up. So, number 3, then, and I'll let you guys just decide who you want to jump in for. I mean, we were going with Adam, so he can just keep the thing going here. But if you could sum yourself up in one word or phrase, what would that be?
Yeah, we're going real philosophical tonight, Zoomy. This is deep.
That is fucking deep.
We start
But
off with like late night cuisine. I mean,
it would have to be
now
a
we're talking
quote.
about summing ourselves up.
All right, here, even better. If there was a book about you, what would the title be? Same question, just different way of asking it.
Well, I can answer that one, and it would be a quote. That which does not kill you makes you stronger.
Like Mama said, you know, but did you die?
Mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You open it up and they're all half eaten. That's when you pull up my 45, get medieval on your buttocks.
You get medieval on your buttocks. That is so funny. I'm trying to remember what that is from.
I feel like mine would be something along the lines of pipe dreams and star reaching, you know? It's lofty ideas that could never happen, but I'm gonna shoot for them anyway, right? And I think that's what this
Right.
project is. It's like I've been striving for something for so long, and now I have the capacity, the ability, the the allies to make it happen. And I've always had my head in the clouds, you know. I'm a dreamer. I'm a lover of fantasy. Obviously, we've evolved into a Lord of the Rings themed black metal band. I mean, I don't know how much nerdier you can get than that. but at the same
Keep it
time,
coming.
I just I I love world building, and I love metaphysical realms and walking around inside my head, you know. And
Awesome.
it's hasn't always been, a positive thing too. Like I've been pretty distracted at points in my life, and I've neglected things in my life because of it. And so it's about finding a balance, and I just I don't know. I at a very young age, I showed signs of ADD, but the school counselor at my elementary school, he was like, "No, he just has an overactive imagination." Like I was always somewhere else in my head, and everything I was playing with was something else. And I don't know if that ever really shut off for me.
Yeah, I always said that back whenever we were younger, that just wasn't as much of a thing. They didn't really seek any sort of answer
Right.
for, why you weren't paying attention in school, or,
Right.
it was just, oh, they're distracted, or, oh, they're just super smart and the material's boring them. And then they like just load more work on you and you're like, no, that's not helping me. And, we've come a long ways. I heard a comedian say one time his daughter asked him, "Oh, Dad, did you have a counselor like I did?" And he was like, "Oh, no, honey, parenting has changed a lot in 20 years."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, yeah, most certainly. So, but I agree with all of that. I mean, you couldn't have really said it any better. So, um, we've all got our thing. And so, that's like what defines us. And so that's part of what brings, because I always say we have this person doing all of this stuff to get to here, and then you have this person doing all this stuff to get to here. And what do you know? These
Yeah.
experiences were able to come together and make an awesome band. So, that's the influence and that's the identity. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Good answers, guys.
Thanks.
Question 4. All right. We're just going to let you guys fight over who goes first. All right. Here we go. If you could choose any decade to live in, what would you choose?
Well, since Paul's lived through all of them, I'm just kidding. I just wish I would have seen more of the early stages of black metal, right? Like I'm a little jealous of Paul and all that he was able to witness as a teenager, and just being in that crucial timeline. So I guess I did live through the 90s, but to live through the 80s as like maybe I was born in the end of the 70s or something, so that I could be
I
of
gotcha.
influential age by the time 92 comes around, right? So yeah.
I was
For sure.
18 in 92, man.
Shut the fuck up. No, you were not.
I was 9.
Crazy, crazy. I was 18 and like, oh man, 92 was a good year for metal. It was.
I
Like
was
all that stuff
six.
you do. It was sick. It was sick back then, man. Like you would see like well now you would still see Cannibal Corpse and tour buses, man, but it's like, you know, I got to see Carcass and I got to see just so many. I'm not even gonna go into it. Uh but you would start like when grunge hit, dude. You saw all those bands in vans, dude. Like it was insane. Vans and trailers. Like MTV's Headbangers Ball went away. It was just like overnight. It just like dissipated. But dude, I mean, it was like the prime, man. Like I said, it was just like you were craving it. Like, you know, I would like save my allowance and go like to the record store all the weekends, dude, spend all my
Yeah.
money on that shit. And it's like, for example, build such a good relationship with Cheapo and Uptown that the guys would call me when they would get like promos for metal albums. And that's how I got Death's Human, dude. It was on a cassette promo and it had no artwork, but it was the actual cassette from the label. But like the actual label was like blue construction paper and it was just printed on it. It was just sick. I mean, you got to hear just like, I mean, that's what like I said, dude, those were the days, man. It's like all of this stuff was new. It was
Yeah, it's
fresh. It
awesome.
was craving it. Like when Immolation dropped Dawn of Possession, I mean, that sound, it's like you were so used to like you know, you followed the record labels is what you ended up doing. You know what I mean? You found a band on a record label that you liked, and then so you would just go with the other artists. So you had all those guys coming out of Florida, Malevolent Creation, Exporter, all that shit. Unique sound.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember a lot of those labels you'd follow them, and I'm from more of the CD time period, but still before streaming. But I mean, there were still cassettes at the end of my or at the beginning of my music listening time.
Mhm.
But one of the things I remember is a lot of the labels would put out like little compilations, and so
Oh,
you
hell
would
yeah.
even find other bands by
Sure.
listening to the compilation of that
Yeah.
label and you found that label because of the band that you liked. So yeah, awesome. Awesome ways to just discover the new music. And before the internet, like you said, Paul, I didn't grow up in my early days with the internet. And then whenever we had it as a young man, I would say as a older teenager, how about that? It wasn't like the same kind of internet it is now. You couldn't like go to Google, type in a question, and boom, the
Yeah.
answer pops up. It was like the search engine would give you things that you didn't want to find that just had that word in it. And then,
Yep.
anyway, it was just a mess sometimes to even find that. And
Oh
sometimes
man,
the
you just hope
information just
mom
still
didn't pick
wasn't.
up the phone to make a phone call and knock you off the internet.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we all heard that
Oh,
sound in our heads before you even
oh
made it right
gosh.
now.
Yeah, like if you ever hear it again, like I've heard it before since then. And I'm always like, who's doing that? And it'll be like one of the kids watching a reel or something. And I'm like, y'all don't even know what that is, man. And they're like, yeah, it's the old internet. I'm like, yeah, but you don't even know what that means. You're saying those words, but you don't even know what that means.
Dude, I remember when internet was just basically email, man. It was like, that was it, like
or a chat room or something,
100%. Like, so for me, like at the early days of, before like the pre-MySpace days and all that shit, you would sign like certain chat channels. Do you know what I mean? And like you would just
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's how I discovered a bunch of like underground black metal bands like from the US, you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, it's like, I don't know, like all like underground metal's always been my thing, man. It's like I just can't get out of it. Like, it took my wife to like really like start breaking the hammer on some of my music, and it's like so now I get into a lot of things and it's like I guess it's like if I listen to music that's not metal, like Dead Can Dance. Like hands down. Like I just need to like be trans like so I mentioned that I play in terrorism on tour. You wouldn't be surprised to hear like Gordon Lightfoot or the Beatles, man. Like it's like you play extreme music and then it's like you need the almost like antithesis to that to relax, even if you can tolerate music at that point. But like, yeah,
totally. Yeah, I always say that I have this like guilty pleasure of outlaw country music.
Oh, me
yeah,
And
too.
I don't know what it is, but like whenever I can't hear blast beats in the moment, it's
Marty
some sort of
Robbins,
yeah, Marty Robbins is great. That is great, man. I like
Gunslinger shit's just
yeah,
the best.
Towns Van Zant,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
I'm a big fan of Towns Van Zant, and so
yeah.
those are just some kind of the places that I go. But Brando and I have talked about this. That's what's awesome about metal too,
You dragged me
is
into this.
yeah, you have all these different influences, and a guitarist can write a riff that you could really play for almost any other kind of genre of music. Maybe not every, but it could fit in a lot of different genres of music. But the collective made it a metal riff. But it might not have even been a metal riff by itself. You throw some distortion on it, and you start jamming out with a heavy metal drummer, and now it's a metal riff. And so a lot of different styles are brought into heavy metal to make metal what it is. And it's one of the reasons why metal has like 5 bajillion subgenres
Right.
is because we just keep making up new sounds in metal,
Yeah.
exactly, dude. I mean, it's like look at what like it's like people like say it's like do you listen to heavy metal? So what heavy metal are you thinking about? Are you thinking about Whitesnake heavy metal, or are you thinking about Iron Maiden heavy metal? Are you thinking Judas Priest? I mean, like it's like where do you like draw the line there? Are you thinking like the famous like again Lords of Chaos, Scorpions, right? It's like I mean define heavy metal, and that's what I hate it. Like that's what I hate and love about the conversation because again, it's like I enjoy most of it. It's like, it's like you just can't not. Like, I mean, it's the yeah, I'll just say that. It's like it's why Spinal Tap is so great because it's just like when you realize like Spinal Tap was hilarious, but it actually pissed bands off, man. Like that's the thing like that cracks me up about it. I mean, that's why metal's so fucking great, is because it's so over the top sometimes. And then it gets to be super serious, right? I mean, it's like think about what you love in like metal
Yep,
in general, man. It's just like it's you find a band for like any emotion you want, right? That's just so yeah. So that's all I'll say about metal is that it's just like universal and you can't define it. Because what is metal?
for
I mean,
sure.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah, yeah,
number.
yeah. I mean, so much fits into that metal box, and I mean, it becomes metal is what I always say. It might not have went into the box as metal, but it became metal. And that's what makes it fun too. And I'm not a gatekeeper of genre names by
Well, I
any
mean, you have
means,
bands
so
like
I tend to
Wayfarer.
even get them wrong. And some people are like,
Well, I was just saying, you have bands like Wayfarer, like literally playing cowboy black metal. Like, you know what I mean? Like anything can, like you said, you just throw some distortion on it, and
"What was Sleep Terror, that recent release that Sleep Terror did with the aces and eights? It's all like gunslinger. So I say recent. It's been years now, I feel like, since they
sure,
brought it out, but I think it was the most recent
yeah,
album. But anyway, there's a lot of like ding 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 ding,
sure,
and it's super cool, man. It's heavy, it's brutal, and I freaking love it. But yeah, yeah, just a great example of how, the sounds don't have any rules. You know what I mean?
right.
So that helps out with Witched In, right? Because you guys aren't in that box, especially looking forward. So, yeah. Anyways, I could probably ramble about that for well, we'll have a second Witched In podcast where we just ramble about all this stuff, that Paul and I, could probably sit and ramble about for freaking days.
But wait a minute,
I could
Paul.
so see that.
Paul, what decade would
Yo,
you want to live in?
What decade would it be? Well, that's a good question. I mean, that really is an interesting question because I mean, there's several, you know, like would I want to go back to see like my great great grandparents, for example? Would I want to go that far back? Because I mean, you got like, everybody's interested in where they came from and etc.
Yeah,
And I mean, I don't necessarily like. I mean, my wife and I talked about this. If I would choose, I would probably go back to the '80s. I'd probably go back to the '80s. I'll just leave it at that.
right
I
on.
love the 80s. I love them. You know, I was really young during that time period, but I still hold an identity to the 80s. And I feel like part of the spirit I still carry on to this day. So, you know,
I mean, I'm a product of the '80s directly.
yeah. Well, there you go. So, I mean, you've got a little bit of 80s in you too. All right, y'all ready for question 5? We'll wrap these fast 5 up. All right. So this one is not as deep, not as serious. So I hope y'all are ready for something a little different. It's a real thinker, though. So here we go. What would your role be in the zombie apocalypse?
Food? I'd probably get eaten. I don't know.
Oh, so that's your role would be food for the zombies. Okay. You wouldn't. Okay. That is not
I
where
mean,
I was going with
I
the
can run
question,
for
but
a
you got
while,
it.
but like, I don't have any like survival training or anything. Legitimately, should probably get on that. Honestly.
Bait. You'd be bait for the group, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, they keep you alive, but you use bait.
Right.
Yeah, you just
Well,
have to scream and make noise and bang pots and pans down the street so you can lead them all
Yeah. Right.
somewhere else.
No,
I don't know.
I'd
Like,
probably be a provider. Go scavenge for supplies and stuff. I'd like to think that I would take an active role in whatever community I'm part of, but who knows, right? Who knows how he would actually react?
Yeah,
That's part of
exactly. And it kind of goes back to that people thing. Like,
yeah,
who are
right.
the people with you in that community? Like,
Yeah.
can you make it with those people? You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
well,
I think about that a lot. I like to think I can make it 2 weeks, but who knows?
I don't know. For me, I'd like to think I would be like a survivor because I mean, you know, one of the things that my wife and I do is like we have a date night during the week, and she'll always ask like, what should I wear? And I always tell her it's like you got to wear something that you're comfortable running in if the zombie apocalypse breaks out. And I mean,
Perfect.
and so that's what we do. And it's like when we go out in public, it's like, okay, so we want to be comfortable. Yeah, you want to look kind of cool, but could you fucking haul ass in what you're wearing if the zombie apocalypse hit? And now I say tentatively that my wife and I would be survivors. Like we kind of have a plan, but I think the smartest thing to do when the zombie apocalypse hits is to fucking shoot him in the head, but to run your ass and get gas, whatever you fucking need, and haul ass to where there are no fucking people. So I mean, like that's where this is important. This is why like you should be watching survival skill YouTube videos because it's like you're probably gonna have to subsist on your own for a bit before you really get the hang of things, right? But that's the thing. You want to be where there's fucking no people. And it sounds like it's just me being an old man, which is kind of partially true, because I'm probably going to be the old guy sitting on the porch. Get the fuck out! No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like I have Tourette's and
Kids
stuff.
always riding
Like,
a
what are you guys
skateboard
doing
on the
about that?
sidewalks.
No, I'm not going to be that guy. But in the zombie apocalypse, you got to be that guy. You got to like haul ass, grab your people, whoever you fucking trust, get supplies, and go where there are no people. And then it's like you hope or you pray that either there is a cure or you can really like stockpile ammunition because I mean that's what's probably going to take, or you hope the military has a
Yeah,
good
but you
thing
can't
planned.
eat ammunition.
But
What happens when
if
you
you
run out
watch
of
all
those
those fucking
initial
movies, they end up
supply?
nuking the city where the zombies are, and that's the whole point. Is that you need to haul ass and be outside of at least a blast zone where you can survive, and hope to God that you can find like some way to survive radiation fallout because the military is always going to nuke. We know that from the film. The military is always probably going to nuke the shit. So
TV's already told us, people. TV has already told us what would happen. And I think you're right. There's a certain little bit of behavioral pattern that is predictable by people, and that's what they would do. They'd blow up the big city. So, um,
and I'm just
get out of
saying
town.
that's why I would say tentatively survivor because I mean the truth of the matter is if it really shit if the shit hit the fan. I mean my wife and I live in the city. Yeah, we're probably gonna be fucking screaming about eating brains in a second. You know what I mean? Just like Return of the Living Dead brains. That's gonna be my wife.
Send more paramedics.
Exactly, 100%. You know exactly the reference. That's exactly it. I think that like Adam is probably right. We'd all end up being fucking food. Even though the ego says, no, I'd be a survivor, man.
I
But
got
you have
this.
to be
I
more
got
realistic.
this.
It's like,
What was it? Jerry Seinfeld, he talked about like how people have very unrealistic views of the things they're capable of. He goes, think about it. He goes, you ever see a guy driving down the road with a mattress on top of the car and he's got his arm on top of it like this?
exactly.
And he's like, so you mean to tell me if the wind catches this giant rectangle at 50 miles an hour, I got it. I got it. Nope, you don't got nothing,
Yeah, and my
You
ego
read too
likes to
many.
tell me I'm going to win the lottery whenever the Powerball is over 500 million. Like, oh yeah, now's my time. I'm going to win this time.
This is my chance. Oh man.
It's my
Well, guys,
destiny.
yeah, that's the Fast Five. So hopefully everybody got a chance to get a little something out of that. I got some laughs out of it, and that's why I have the most fun doing those on the show. I want everybody else to get something out of it, but I love to laugh during the show. And I feel like that, like, even whenever we've hung out with other bands, we haven't got to know them before the show very often. Usually by the time the Fast Five's over, like we're all buds. And that just it just makes it, so much more valuable to not just everybody else, but to just what we do day in and day out, because we love being encouraged by the bands that are out there in really all of extreme metal. We love the new music, the new material, which is a lot that they're all putting out, and we love doing our best to keep up with it. So those kind of things like just help keep us jump started and just loving and being energized with what you guys are all doing. So everybody out there, y'all better be listening to some Witched In, and just know that the stuff that's coming out, new and more badass, right? They are taking their skills to the next level with the changes, and we want you guys to be checking them out. So if you haven't, listen to them and be ready for what is to come in Witched In Land. See, you guys are going to be calling it that from now on. I just want you to know. Because nobody knows where Witched In Land is.
No.
No one
Right?
knows.
No one knows. So
Does it border Creepsylvania?
be there or be square. But no, for real, guys, I actually don't have any more questions. I've been just thrilled with the time we've gotten this evening. I'm so grateful for you guys just taking a moment to hang out with us, and I want everybody out there to just get a chance to know you guys. So
Well, I
that's where
appreciate
we
it.
are. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
thank
man.
you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We really appreciate having you guys on. Looking forward to what you guys have coming for our ears in the near future, and hope to catch y'all live. Come on down to Houston. Love to hang
Absolutely.
out and see you guys play.
Hell
For
yeah.
real.
We'll do
Well,
it.
it was nice. It was nice meeting, quote unquote, meeting you guys and getting a chance to talk and hanging out. And I hope we get a chance to do it again. It was fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this was really
Looking
fun.
forward to it. Everybody out there, go check out some Witched In. Until next time, Metal Block over and out.